So we're going to pick up here and we're going to talk about dictionaries. And if you read the intro, you know that I was an English literature major in my undergraduate. And I love words. I love dictionaries. I love thesauruses. Uh, I just enjoy looking up word histories. And so I really love looking up words in a dictionary. And um, you can think of a dictionary, a literal dictionary really represents the idea of a dictionary. I can look up a word and I can get its meaning. So the key is the word itself, and the value that I'm looking up is the meaning. But really, when you look at an entry for a word, you're going to find a lot more than just its definition. In fact, you're going to find usually multiple definitions. A lot of times that's going to depend on the part of speech that it is. Um, it's going to probably tell you some history about the word, like whether it comes from Old English or German or French. Often it's going to give you synonyms, maybe alternate spellings. And so there's just a lot of things that we can learn. So even within the dictionary definition, there are key value pairs. What's the definition? What's the pronunciation? What's the part of speech? And we could think of that as a record almost of every single word in the dictionary we're going to expect to see for any given word, a definition, a pronunciation, a part of speech, going forward like that. So you can think of a dictionary as this kind of little box that inside of it contains key value pairs. So that's the idea. Let's play around with creating a dictionary to see how that might work. So as you may know, Python, the language, is not named after the snake Python, but it's actually named after the comedy troupe Monty Python, which is a British comedy troupe. And they made a bunch of films, and they had television shows and stage shows. And I've always been a big Monty Python fan since I was a teenager. And one of my favorites is Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where King Arthur and his knights have to cross the Bridge of Death. And anyone who wishes to cross this must answer 3 questions from the keeper. So let's play around with that. How could we do that? So I'm going to start up a REPL, um, and I'm going to create a dictionary that will hold the answers. So Lancelot goes first, and he's going to have to answer these questions. And so let's create a way to keep track of them. And I can create answers. I showed you when we were looking at lists that you could use the list function to create a new list. And it's the same with dictionaries. It's the dict function that will create a new dictionary. I can say, what is answers? And it shows me empty curly brackets. That is a way of Python showing me graphically that this is a dictionary. So when we look at lists, they're going to be enclosed in square brackets. And when we look at dictionaries, they're going to be enclosed in curly brackets, which also means that I could say I can initialize answers to an empty set of curly brackets, and that is also a dict. And I can make sure this by typing answers, and sure enough, it shows me that this is a dictionary. And this is very similar to the same kind of syntax you will see, for instance, in JavaScript to create an empty, what they might call an object. So in, um, in Python, we are going to set a value for the name of the first knight, and that's Sir Lancelot. So the first question from the keeper is, "What is your name?" And he says, "My name is Sir Lancelot of Camelot." And so in order to set a value, we're going to have to talk about answers, and then we're going to put something in square brackets. Now, this is something I really dislike about the language. I really feel like it should have used curly brackets here because we are dealing with something that curly brackets make us think about uh, dictionaries. But the language chose to use square brackets here. And inside of it, I can say name. So this is the thing that I'm going to be talking about. And if I were to just simply type this right now, it's actually going to create an exception. There is nothing in answers called name. It's a bit like a variable. Like if I were to say name right now, that would also create a problem because I haven't defined a variable called name. If I say name is equal to something, now I can talk about it. Well, it's the same with answers at name. I haven't set that to be anything, so it's going to blow up if I try to talk about it. But I can type Sir Lancelot. And that's fine because I'm initializing answers at name to be some string value. Now if I type answers, it's going to show me in curly brackets that this is a dictionary, and then it's going to show me the key, which is called name, followed by a um, colon, and then the value for that key. So the key right now is name, and the value is Sir Lancelot. And we can have multiple keys and values together. So how do we set the next one? So the next answer. So the keeper asks, "What is your quest?" And to which Lancelot answers, "To seek the Holy Grail." So I'm going to copy and paste this in for now, just to make it go a little faster for the video. And when I do this, answers has grown by the addition of this key value pair. So it doesn't overwrite what already was there. It just simply adds to it. So now there are two keys and two values. And I can actually I can say, what is answers.keys? And it will say, right now there's name and there's quest. And I can also ask, what are the values? And it will tell me Sir Lancelot and to seek the Holy Grail. And you notice that they're both kept in, they're in order. The keys and values are kept in order with each other. So there's a third question. What is your favorite color? And Lancelot answers, blue. Ah, right, off you go. So let's add that. Answers, favorite color is equal to blue. And again, let's look at answers. And we see now it has an additional key value pair. So what happens if I set answers equal to red? What has changed? Is there a new, has it been overwritten? Is there another favorite color that has red as its option? Well, let's find out. Let's look at answers, and now we see that favorite color has been overwritten with red. So that leads us to understand a couple things, that the keys in a dictionary must be unique. And if you set the value if you set a value for a key that already exists, then the existing value will be lost. Now this varies from language to language and how the dictionaries and maps are implemented. Sometimes that would be a mistake to override an existing value. In Python, it's not. So if you're worried about overriding existing values, then you would need to check first if a key exists, and we can talk about that in a bit. The other thing to notice is that if I were, let me go back and change this to blue, and if I were to instead say favorite space color, there's nothing saying that there can't be spaces in these names, then I have created, let's look at answers, I've created two favorite colors. But this favorite color has an underscore here, and this favorite color has a space. And the reason is that these are different strings. The underscore makes this a different string. It would be the same as if I said, let's change this to capital F, and I'll say the favorite color is purple. Oops. It's not red purple, I just want it to be purple. Cool. Now let's look at answers. Now I have three favorite colors: favorite underscore color, favorite space color, and then capital F, favorite underscore color. So as you're setting the keys, they are sensitive to spaces, they are sensitive to any change in case, so those are not interchangeable. And it's something that's very common across a lot of languages. So for instance, if you were getting values from a user, maybe from a file, or maybe they're typing in something, you might want to, for instance, lowercase the input from the user or the name of the key, and maybe change all of the spaces to underscores, or the other way around, change the underscores to spaces, but just in some way normalize the keys so that you're positive you have exactly what you want. Let me show you lastly, if you know all the keys and values beforehand, exactly what you want, you can create the whole dictionary like this. So putting in curly brackets key value, comma, key value, then we now have that as our dictionary. There's another syntax for creating, here I show you can use the dict keyword, and notice here name does not have quotes around it, and its name equals Sir Lancelot. Quest equals to seek the Holy Grail, which is different from this syntax here. So now if you think about our answers, it's a little bit like our entry in a dictionary, that inside of answers there's a bunch of key value pairs, the name, the quest, and the favorite color. So that is how you go about initializing and setting the values of a dictionary.